Hello everyone, welcome to this news hour. I am Babla Jonathan. In our top stories, members of a Cameroonian Women's Platform for International Peace are urging the Cameroon government to change tactics, to change strategies in handling the crisis affecting the country. They are demanding for more involvement of women in the peace process, and the disappearance of parts of the lifeless body of a 22-year-old young man in a public hospital in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, raises concerns over the security and safety of patients in health amenities across the country, and the World Health Organization says it is horrified by the level of sexual abuse in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Those were our top stories. Civil society leaders, right defenders are raising concerns over the security and safety of patients in health amenities across the Republic of Cameroon after the disappearance of parts of the lifeless body of a 22-year-old young man in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, and the family only discovered this when they came for the removal of the corpse of the deceased. Details in this report by Smartjik and Gabriel.
It all started with an injury that Hile Ayisi had on his back on September 10, 2021. As a result of that, he was taken to the General Hospital in Yaoundé, where his family never imagined that it was going to be worse. The family was more in shock after going to the General Hospital mortuary for his corpse removal and will discover that the body has been tampered with and many of his private organs removed. Many asked what went wrong between the time Hile Ayisi was admitted at the hospital on the 10th of September 2021 and his death on the 19th of September 2021. His kid brother narrates. It was just a wound that wasn't really bad. He had the first treatment when we brought him. The doctor took a lot of money from us until he asked us to send additional money via Orange Money. It needed us to pay 10,000 francs for any medicine he wanted to administer on our brother. In a media release made public on the 24th of September 2021, the director of the General Hospital in Yaoundé says the victim was received with a wound but left their institution against medical advice. This information will be later debunked by the family. The doctor was the one who told him to go home since he was okay. The infirmarian who had pity on my mother, who complained of financial difficulties, came and told our mother to leave the hospital. The infirmarian even accompanied us to the road until we took a cab. Unfortunately, when the family returned to the hospital on the 14th of September 2021, it was there they discovered that their case had not been registered anywhere in the hospital book. We then searched the register where we discovered that everything we had spent here wasn't registered, as all has been cancelled. We had just papers of the drugs we bought while in the hospital on us. The family says the injury on the back of 22-year-old Hile Ayisi couldn't be the cause for his condition when they came to remove the corpse. They discovered that his heart and other private parts were removed. How can they tear the skin of a human being like that, open him everywhere, and parts taken away. It was this macabre discovery that forced the family to block the way leading to the director's office. In a tweet, Public Health Minister Manauda Malachi says investigation will be opened to get to the roots of what happened, but regrets the fact that health officials were poorly handled. It is not the first case that has been recorded at this hospital, including child trafficking, but as usual, government has always promised investigation which will never come to an end.
All of that happened at the Yaoundé Central Hospital, and of course we will keep you updated on that. Now, politics. Some women are asking the government of the Republic of Cameroon to change tactics, to change strategy in the fight against the crisis affecting the country, and they are demanding that more women be involved in the peace process. Details in this report.
For over 4 years in Cameroon, women living in the conflict-hit regions have been enduring unimaginable adversity. Many of them have been victims of abuses as a result of the upsurge in hostilities. Some others have been killed, like the case of Comfort Pumasang, while others watched their husbands and children being killed. In the midst of all these adversities, members of the platform Cameroon Women for International Peace converged in the city of Douala, brandishing white handkerchiefs and peace plans.
Is to reflect as a platform to see how best we can coordinate our action for more efficiency. The platform was set up 2 years back when the head of state of Cameroon called the national dialogue, the major national dialogue. We have been able to carry out a number of activities, including submitting a memorandum to the National Dialogue table. We have been able to have some advocacy activities, including training of women parliamentarians. We have been able to give some support to women victims in the communities.
These women are worried that despite the efforts made to end the crisis, killings, kidnappings and burnings continue to strive in the northwest, far north and southwest regions. A change in strategy in solving this crisis is what they are recommending the Cameroonian government to opt for.
But we feel that there is something wrong somewhere because the violence is still increasing. That's why we are coming together today to reflect, to think how best we can re-strategize in order to be more efficient. What can we do differently so that we are able to convince our authorities that there is a need for us to make this war end.
Though women play a crucial role in the society, they are sometimes sidelined in the peace process. But these set of women are determined to make a difference.
Women's role in peace building is so important because of the triple role they have in the community role, the reproductive role, and with this role they are able to impact as far as peace building is concerned. But there is no space which is given to women in the peace building processes. So we are coming to see how best we can organize ourselves to influence, to do better advocacy, but also to do more education and sensitization in the community.
International observers are increasing their calls on ceasefire and an end to the conflict, which will be best for the interest of all Cameroonians.
Militants of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party, disgruntled by what they qualify as corruption, favoritism and other irregularities in the reorganization of grassroots organs of the party, fight the comrades over these issues, and the party is rocked by tension across the country with regards to these problems highlighted by some of the militants, and this led to the burning down of the office of the divisional office of Bembisi in the south region of the country. Details with Equinoxe.
dit ça, je suis un Camerounais. Avec nos actes, on n'a jamais vu ça à Bembis. Mais cette fois-ci, vous allez confirmer.
The scenario in the South region is indifferent, with punches stretched forth among opposing CPJ militants with regards to renewal of the party's basic organs. Discrimination is identified as the fight stimulator.
Je suis venu ici
I came here in Kribi too to denounce a problem we face vis-à-vis our brothers of the Bamum origin. We were registered on the CPGM list, but right now we can't find our names.
Nous n'avons pas trouvé nos noms.
We were made to understand that we are from the north and don't have a place here for campaign or vote. The violence, smashing national integration and living together, highly praised by the CPGM party barons, also resulted to raising of a public structure, office of the divisional officer of Bembis. An act CPJ militants in power will not spare to term insurrectional when committed by an opposition party with arrest and detention of suspects. However, the disgruntled camp of the CPJ justify the barbaric act, saying it stems from injustice and lack of democratic practices within the party.
Il y a un problème que j'implore à Bembis.
People in Bembis are not given the opportunity to choose their favorites. The problem stems from the Central Committee. They can't double play the population and deprive them of their rights.
Ils sont intimidés. Vous ne pouviez pas jouer double jeu dans la vie.
Bembis locals say the 100% victory always recorded in the locality will henceforth stop.
Depuis que ça se passe, toujours 100% à Bembis, 100%, 100%. Cette fois-ci, vous allez nous confirmer.
A factory specialized in the production of wine qualified as clandestine has been dismantled in the town of Douala. The factory was invaded by officers of the 13th Police District in the Douala 3 subdivision. Details with Armstrong for me.
Cartons of wine ready for sale to consumers in the city of Douala. The stock was intercepted by police officials of the 13th Police District of the city while it was being loaded for distribution. This driver says he was hired to transport wine from Pekadus to a destination which he is yet to be told. Police Commissioner Patrice Owona says they were alerted by an informant who noticed the doubtful production of wine in this private home at the Peka-Tres neighborhood of the Douala 3 municipality. We have been monitoring their activity since we got the information, but our main problem has been a particular lady who sits directly opposite this building and reports every happening to the people inside.
Efficiente. Vous voyez la maison en face. C'est elle, une dame.
The accused says she is in no way linked to the activity or guilty of what she is being accused of. She says her presence along the road on a daily basis is to coordinate her petty business activity and nothing more. One of the officials of the production unit denies that they operate illegally. The owner of the enterprise, who was absent at the time of the police, has been summoned to present document authorizing his activity at the 13th Police District of the city of Douala.
Now to the Southwest Regional Chieftown, Boya, where military honors were given to late Superintendent of Prisons, Mbeleke Julius, and the funeral ceremony took place at the weekend. Derijato reports.
Military honors. The Cameroon Ministry of Justice, Department of Penitentiary Administration, pays last respect to one of her own. The senior administrator of prisons starts his journey to the world beyond. Born February 28, 1948, Mbeleke Julius, one-time superintendent in charge of Boya Prison, and Garwa Central Prison is remembered for his contributions.
What I learned from him was how to manage, how to discipline anger.
There are those who paved the way for us, the younger ones, to come into the administration and be what we are. So I took it as a personal responsibility to leave Yaoundé, where I am technical advisor, to come bury him. I am Administrator General of Prison Sonengole Bome.
The corpse of the Senior Administrator of Prisons was also brought to the Buya Mountain Club. Ikema Veseke, president of the Buya Mountain Club, revealed that late Mbeleke Julius was not only a member, but his input are still very visible.
He's impacted a lot in the lives of the people of the club. You could hear the population say, he was first of all a snooker player. He was a disciplinarian. When he dwelled on a point, you could not move him from there, especially when it came to those who misbehaved in the club.
The father, grandfather, husband and friend was laid to rest at the family residence in Bokoko Boya.
In the report coming up next, Immaculate Fogwe files in updates on the coronavirus on the African continent. She says that Cameroon is one of the 3 countries with increasing numbers of persons tested positive for coronavirus and those dying for the virus. Details in this report.
COVID-19 cases and deaths are fast rising in Africa as the continent battles a 3rd wave of infections. According to health experts, the new and fast-spreading variant, such as the highly transmissible Delta variant, is now very active in 3 African countries, which are Cameroon, Togo, and Gabon. The World Health Organization reveals that Cameroon has registered 2,974 new positive cases and 83 deaths. According to Centre Pasteur, 380 new cases and 10 deaths were registered daily. The regional delegate for public health for the Northwest region, Kingsley Cheso, says 631 new cases of the Delta COVID-19 variant has been registered, with 15 related deaths within a week. A similar situation is reported in Gabon, where there is a high prevalence rate of cases, which stands at 18% rate. In Togo, 2,300 cases were registered in the space of 2 weeks between the 1st and the 15th of September, with its capital Lomé being the most affected. The country has registered a total of 25,800 cases and 219 deaths. According to experts, the resurgence of cases is due to the relaxation of barrier measures such as the wearing of face masks, social distancing, and regular hand washing. The very low vaccination rate in Cameroon, Gabon, and Togo is equally blamed.
The number of persons tested positive for coronavirus and the persons dying of the virus has continued increasing in Cameroon. That is why there are calls from authorities for the continuous respect of the anti-COVID-19 measures. And the World Health Organization says it is horrified at the findings of a report into alleged sexual abuse by aid workers tackling the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Africa Regional Director Machisidiso Moiti apologized to the women and girls who suffered because of the actions of WHO staff between 2018 and 2020. Local women said that they were plied with drinks and forced to have sex. The WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says it was inexcusable. Talking Point is up next. Thank you for staying with us. We are receiving one of the special advisors to the president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM political party, Professor Maurice Kamto. Silvanus Mutaga, you're welcome.
Thank you immensely, Babla Jonathan, and thanks a lot to all the televiewers of Equinoxe television, especially those who love the special program, The Talking Point. It's an honor to be here tonight.
The women are saying that the government of Cameroon should change tactics, should change strategies in the management of the crisis affecting the country from north to south, east to west.
Yeah, the women are just in line with what popular minds have been saying, and I want to say that when you look at what is happening in Cameroon, it's just like what happened in the days when the Israelites were in Egypt and they were about to leave. Though I'm not saying that any part of this nation is living anywhere, but then you look at what happened in those times of the Israelites in Egypt, you find that so many people tried to advise Pharaoh on how to treat the Egyptians and to treat the Israelites, but he didn't change tactics up to the extent that it reached where God had to manifest his power. So if I'm looking at what is happening in Cameroon, you bear in mind that many partners, diplomatic partners, political leaders within the nation and even out of the nation have given their wisdom, their ideas, their the solution that can be applied, and then you have a solution out for the Anglophone crisis. But the regime in place is not willing to apply this. So
the women are saying that many of them should be included in the peace process. What other changes should be implemented by the government?
What the government of Cameroon need to do is to stretch their hand to embrace the opposition, because we know opposition leaders like Professor Maurice Kamto and other ones that you know so much have been vying to give in their best to collaborating with the regime in place to seeking solution to the Anglophone crisis. But the regime has always been very adamant and is always looking at the opposition leaders who want to collaborate as enemies. And one of the tactics they have been doing is using the ideas or maybe the strategy of the opposition against the opposition. Look at the CRM. When the CRM launched 2 protest marches in 2019, in 2020, you find that the regime in place, instead of looking at it as a way of pressure coming from the opposition for them to press button higher further in seeing how to resolve the Anglophone crisis, they instead use it as means to paint the opposition leaders and their militants black. They would
government should come closer and bring together the opposition and get their ideas. That's what you're saying, right?
That is exactly what I'm saying. And if they don't have the expertise in managing the crisis, they should not be ashamed to say, no, we can't manage it alone. We borrow from this and borrow from this particular political party and then work for the common good of the nation, because it's Cameroon we are talking of. We are not talking of a particular political party which you might cite. I know with the regime in place, what they want to do is to prove to the entire nation that they are the fine brains of the nation and that there is no other political party that can bring solution to the crisis going on, which is a lie from the pit of hell, as I've always been saying. The CRM has always proposed it. The only way forward for the crisis is a dialogue. Call those they have been calling terrorists to a table of dialogue, negotiation, and then further they call the general public, sensitize them on the resolutions that have been taken at the dialogue, at the negotiation table, and then finally, I think the men of God, the traditional rulers, even all other civil society activists can be brought in to sensitize the nation, the entire public, on the necessity for joint effort in resolving the crisis.
The Prime Minister said it while in Buea that all hands must come on deck. The solution to the crisis and other problems affecting the country can only come through collective efforts, bringing together everybody on board. Now, the CRM has been there, but since the leaders of the party were arrested and jailed and later released, you were also a part of those who were arrested and later released. Some are still in jail, Lebibu, Nisak and the rest. The CRM has been somehow silent for a while now.
Mr. Babula Jonathan, the CRM is not silent. I want to say the regime in place might think that they are strong as the walls of Jericho, but I want to tell you that the walls of Jericho, God saw themselves crumbling. They all crumbled when the children of God were praising the Lord. So at this particular moment, we are simply praising God for what is happening. We know that with what is going on, the international community, Cameroonians themselves are watching, they are seeing, they know that the real devil is the regime in place that does not want to embrace anyone that comes up with ideas on how to handle the crises that are plaguing the nation. Because if you're asking of people like Bibo Misak, Professor Alain Fogue-Zambo Pascal, and over 124 militants of the CRM who are in prison, you ask why they should be there. I will tell you simply because they came out. Some of them didn't even leave their house on the 22nd of that September 2020, but some of them went out, which was not in any violation of the law, that we want an end to the war in the Northwest region. We want the consensual reform of the electoral system. We want an exemplary chastisement of those who embezzled the AFCON budget of 2019. But they were arrested. They were arrested.
Thanks, thank you very much, Silvanus Mutaga. You're one of the special advisors to the president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Permit me greet His Excellency President-elect Professor Maurice Kamto, who just granted a press conference in Paris yesterday.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today. Coming up live from the nation's capital, Yaoundé, La Presse, c'est dispute, and after that, Equinoxe.